Article 67. Term of office of Vice President. The Vice President shall hold office for a term of 5 years from the date on which he enters upon his office, provided that Clause A Vice President may, by writing under his hand, addressed to the President, resign his office. Clause B A Vice President may be removed from his office by a resolution of the Council of States passed by a majority of all the then members of the Council and agreed to by the House of the People, but no resolution for the purpose of this clause shall be moved unless at least 14 days notice has been given of the intention to move the resolution. Clause C. A Vice President shall, notwithstanding the expiration of his term, continue to hold office until his successor enters upon his office. Article 68. Time of holding election to fill vacancy in the office of Vice President and the term of office of person elected to fill casual vacancy. Clause 1. An election to fill a vacancy caused by the expiration of the term of office of Vice President shall be completed before the expiration of the term. Clause 2. An election to fill a vacancy in the office of Vice President occurring by reason of his resignation or removal or death or otherwise shall be held as soon as possible after the occurrence of the vacancy, and the person elected to fill the vacancy shall, subject to the provisions of Article 67, be entitled to hold office for the full term of 5 years from the date on which he enters upon his office. Hmm. Hmm. Article 67, not 67, it's 69. Article 69. Oath or affirmation by the Vice President. Every Vice President shall, before the entering upon his office, make and subscribe before the President or some person appointed in that behalf by him an oath or affirmation in the following form, that is to say, I, that is AB, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and solemnly affirm allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter. Article 70. Discharge of President's function in other contingencies. Parliament may make such provisions as it thinks fit for the discharge of the functions of the President in any contingency not provided for in this chapter. Article 71. Matters relating to or connected with the election of a President or Vice President. Clause 1. All doubts and disputes arising out of or in connection with the election of a President or Vice President shall be inquired into and decided by the Supreme Court, whose decision shall be final. Clause 2. If the election of a person as President or Vice President is declared void by the Supreme Court, acts done by him in the exercise and performance of the powers and duties of the office of President or Vice President, as the case may be, on or before the date of the decision of the Supreme Court, shall not be invalidated by reason of that declaration. Clause 3. Subject to the provisions of this Constitution, Parliament may by law regulate any matter relating to or connecting with the election of a President or Vice President. Clause 4. The election of a person as President or Vice President shall not be called in question on the ground of the existence of any vacancy for whatever reason among the members of the electoral colleague electing him. Article 72, power of president to grant pardons, etc., and to suspend, remit, or commute sentences in certain cases. Clause 1, the president shall have the power to grant pardons, reprieves, respites, or remissions of punishment, or to suspend, remit, or commute the sentence of any person convicted of any offense. Subclause A, in all cases where the punishment or sentence is by a court martial. Subclause B, in all cases where the punishment or sentence is for an offense against any law relating to a matter to which the executive power of the Union extend. Subclause C, in all cases where the sentence is a sentence of death. Clause 2. Nothing in subclause A of clause 1 shall affect the power conferred by law on any officer of the armed forces of the Union to suspend, remit, or commute a sentence passed by a court martial. Clause 3. Nothing in subclause C of clause 1 shall affect the power to suspend, remit, or commute a sentence of death accessible by the governor of a state under any law for the time being in force. Article 73, extent of executive power of the Union. Clause 1, subject to the provisions of this Constitution, the executive power of the Union shall extend. Subclause A, to the matters with respect to which Parliament has power to make laws, and subclause B, to the exercise of such rights, authority, and jurisdiction as are accessible by the Government of India by virtue of any treaty or agreement, treaty or agreement, provided that executive power referred to in subclause A shall not, save as expressly provided in this Constitution or in any law made by Parliament, extend in any state to matters with respect to which the legislature of this state has also power to make laws. Clause 2. Until otherwise provided by Parliament, a state and any officer authority of a state may, notwithstanding anything in this article, continue to exercise in matters with respect to which Parliament has power to make laws for that state such executive power or functions as the state or officer or authority thereof could exercise immediately before the commencement of this Constitution. Council of Ministers. Article 74. Council of Ministers to aid and advise President. Clause 1. There shall be a Council of Ministers with the Prime Minister at the head and aid and advise the President, who shall, in the exercise of his function, act in accordance with such advice, provided that President may require the Council of Ministers to reconsider such advice either generally or otherwise, and the President shall act in accordance with the advice tendered after such reconsideration. Clause 2. The question whether any, and if so what, advice was tendered by ministers to the President shall not be inquired into in any court. Article 75. Other provisions as to ministers. Clause 1. The Prime Minister shall be appointed by the President, and the other ministers shall be appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. Clause 1A. The total number of ministers, including the Prime Minister, in the Council of Ministers shall not exceed 15% of the total number of members of the House of the People. Clause 1B. A member of either House of Parliament belonging to any political party who is disqualified for being a member of that House under paragraph 2 of the 10th schedule shall also be disqualified to be appointed as a minister under clause 1 for duration of the period commencing from the date of his disqualification till the date on which the term of his office as such member would expire, or where he contest any election to either House of Parliament before the expiry of such period, till the date on which he is declared elected, whichever is earlier. Clause 2. The minister shall hold office during the pleasure of the President. Clause 3. The Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the House of the People. Clause 4. Before a minister enters upon his office, the President shall administer to him the oaths of office and of secrecy according to the form set out for the purpose in the third schedule. Clause 5. A minister who for any period of 6 consecutive months is not a member of either House of Parliament shall at the expiration of that period cease to be a minister. Clause. The salaries and allowances of ministers shall be such as Parliament may from time to time by law determine, and until Parliament so determines shall be as specified in the second schedule. The Attorney General for India. Article 76. Attorney General for India. Clause 1. The President shall appoint a person who is qualified to be appointed a judge of the Supreme Court to be Attorney General for India. Clause 2. It shall be the duty of the Attorney General to give advice to the Government of India upon such legal matters and to perform such other duties of a legal character as may from time to time be referred or assigned to him by the President, and to discharge the functions conferred on him by or under this Constitution or any other law for the time being in force. Clause 3. In the performance of his duties, the Attorney General shall have right of audience in all courts in the territory of India. Clause 4. The Attorney General shall hold office during the pleasure of the President and shall receive such remuneration as the President may determine. Conduct of government business. Article 77. Conduct of business of the Government of India. Clause 1. All executive action of the Government of India shall be expressed to be taken in the name of the President. Clause 2. Orders and other instruments made and executed in the name of the President shall be authenticated in such manner as may be specified in rules to be made by the President, and the validity of an order or instrument which is so authenticated shall not be called in question on the ground that it is not an order or instrument made or executed by the President. Clause 3. The President shall make rules for the more convenient transaction of the business of the Government of India and for the allocation among ministers of the said business. Article 78. Duties of Prime Minister as respect the furnishing of information to the President, etc. It shall be the duty of Prime Minister, Clause A, to communicate to the President all decision of the Council of Ministers relating to the administration of the affairs of the Union and proposals for legislation. Clause B. To furnish such information relating to the administration of the affairs of the Union and proposal for legislation as the President may call for, and Clause C. If the President so requires, to submit for the consideration of the Council of Ministers any matter on which a decision has been taken by a minister but which has not been considered by the Council.